This is Jackie, and I am here with Nick from Breakup Shoes. And Nick, you guys just released your new album, Standing Still, last week. Congrats.
We sure did. Thank you.
And tell me a little bit about what the title of the album means for you.
Well, Standing Still is shortened from a longer lyric, which is moving on is hard, but so is standing still. Um, so the theme of the record is all about kind of my last couple years where I was living in my hometown of Phoenix, Arizona, and I had just been kind of doing a lot of the same things for years, and I just kind of felt stuck and like living in I don't know, just like a bit of the same cycle, and I just felt like I needed to break out of that and try something new for my life. And so yeah, I was balancing. I ended up moving across the country, and that is, the moving on is hard, but also it's tough to stay where you are and just like keep feeling stuck, for lack of a better word. Yeah.
Very true to life. How is it an evolution of sound since Death of Everything Worrisome or even Nicotine Dream?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Nicotine Dream was, all the way back in 2016 now. We're almost at 10 years, which is really crazy. But back in that day, I mean, we recorded the whole thing in the garage of the home that I was living in near Arizona State. And I mixed and mastered it myself using a bunch of YouTube tutorials and whatever. And at this point now, yeah, we're full production, letting some people who do it for a living help us out. But I think the biggest things since the last album, Death of Everything Worrisome, it's more of a we have different members in the band who each bring their own unique flavor. Our guitarist and bassist, and we worked with a new producer, Charlie Brand, who had a band that in high school I absolutely loved called Miniature Tigers. And that like era of music, you know how like in high school there's like that's kind of like when your music taste is like really formed. And like so those years where I was listening to, that was like early 2000s indie, like your Strokes, Arcade Fire, like MGMT era. Charlie's band was a part of that, and so I think it kind of brought that side of my like musical upbringing into the record a little more, that like indie sleaze era, I guess.
That checks out now that you said that. That makes a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
sense.
for sure.
Who or what inspired the songwriting this time around?
Hmm. I'm not sure if I have a musical reference for at least like the songwriting. I think I always struggle with like the song is always like written in two parts, right? Like it's me alone, like writing in a notebook, strumming on a acoustic guitar. Um, and I don't really know where that comes from necessarily. Like I think there's like a lot of like artists that I look up to as like aspirational, like an Adrian Lenker, Andy Schaaf, like a lot of your like singer-songwriters who I think write really, really incredible lyrics. But then that's not really like what I actually make, even just like stylistically, whatever. So yeah, I mean, not sure about that, but I was listening to, while we were working on this, I was listening to a lot of Slow Pulp and Hotline TNT, and they both put out excellent records over the last few years, and I think you can kind of feel some of that influence in the songs too. But
yeah, how does Copacetic and Brainwash, the singles that you have out, represent the band's overall sound right now?
I think both of them, I think over the years that we've like been touring and playing a lot of shows every year, we tend to lean into the more upbeat songs and ones that like we know are going to be fun to perform. Um, so I think those two songs kind of feel they felt to us the most energetic, the most maybe pop leaning in as far as having catchy choruses and like hooky uh, instrumental sections. But yeah, we I think those kind of represent the most fun of the record. Some of them are a little more introspective feeling and maybe would not lend themselves as well to being performed. But yeah,
Let's talk about copacetic. Why
sure.
is right now a good time for maybe a little pretending or escapism to do us some good?
I mean, feels like a bit of a loaded question. I there is I think I actually started writing the song in 2022. I was just looking back through my notebooks and found like the very first iteration of it back then. Um, and I think at that time, a little escapism was just out of kind of what I was explaining, the monotony of uh, I don't know, just your average life, like a very normal but like not super stimulating lifestyle, I guess. I think, taking its release in our current I don't know, political and cultural climate, it's just it's nice to be able to tune out for a little bit because like I I can't cope with just facing everything happening in the world at any given moment, and I'm sure everyone kind of feels that way. It's a little much. So yeah, we could all use a little play pretend, keep going, act like it's fine when you can. So
Especially when you're doing it on purpose instead of just to convince yourself.
totally, yeah. There's a difference there for sure.
Let's talk about the music video. I wanted to call it Everything is Claustrophobic, but that's not true. Who came up with the treatment for it, though?
That was actually my manager, Tim Kirch. We had kind of been talking through. I wasn't sure what to do with the video, and he kind of came up with this idea of like, well, it's all about moving. The record is about moving. Um, let's have you move. So it just starts out holding a box, going up an elevator, but um, yeah, we just thought like super tight wide angle shots in an elevator of us performing is fun. And it was extremely claustrophobic. It was also funny, the elevator was not like turned off. Like it was like people were walking into the elevator full of us with our instruments all crammed in. So
What
yeah.
was your reaction to that?
I mean, they weren't stoked. They were just trying to get back up to their apartment or whatever. Everyone felt a little awkward, I think, but what are you gonna do?
Some of us are just always awkward. It's totally fun. Um,
I mean, I feel the same.
what role do you feel music videos play in 2025 when we haven't had a dedicated channel in probably a decade?
Which is a real shame, by the way. Like that was like childhood throwing on the I don't know. I loved music videos from a young age. So there's just like one component of like it's a fun thing to do. But I think really at this point it's about building your like world that the album exists in. Like what do you want people to like visualize and associate with when they're hearing your music? And I mean, of course it's like, social media, something to be sharing that's like a little more thoughtful or like um artfully created than maybe just like a, video face to phone sort of thing. Um yeah, I think it's just all about how you want to represent yourself in a visual form, since music is audio.
Do you feel a certain, especially since you've just released an album, do you feel a certain pressure to post either certain things or to a certain frequency on social media, or are you kind of trying to be organic about it?
I mean, I definitely feel pressure to do that. It's a weird thing where it does feel like something I have to do, and then I try to like reframe it to try to make it something I want to do. Uh, but there's like a level of like social media as connecting with fans and people who like our music. That's really cool. Then there's like the other aspect of like I'm trying to like become a social media person in order to bring people to listen to my music that feels both impossibly daunting because that's like not my personality type and I don't know, it just feels a little gross for me. But yeah, I have a very complex relationship with social media, and it is not my favorite part of being a musician, but it does feel like something that is to some degree necessary. Even just simply sharing information. Here, our album is out, our tour is coming up. Um, but yeah, and it is cool. I do the best part of that is just replying to messages and comments and stuff and like chatting with people. That's when social media is at its best, I would say. But
Speaking of which, music is often there for us when times get tough. Um, what music do you turn to when music gets tough, or when not when music, or when life gets tough?
um, ooh, that's a good question. I particularly like Turnover's Peripheral Vision is one of those records that like was really formative for me. Like I think it came out when I was maybe a freshman in college. And yeah, it like hits every mark for me, like sonically and lyrically. It just that's always a good one. I went through like a little like mini crisis earlier this year where I was like I think I was getting really focused on trying to make like social media stuff and I was like man, like, do I love music still? And like, I just got really in my head, and I went to like dive back into the music that made me, which was also like Mac DeMarco was a hugely influential artist for me. He was like the first person that I listened to that I thought like, first of all, this is like effortlessly cool. Like, I just loved everything about it. But then it was also like, I think I could make something like this, which is what informed the sound of Nicotine Dream and that kind of thing too. But um, yeah, there's got to be more in there, but that's what's coming to mind.
I'm sure there is. So, how do you feel, or what is your reaction when a fan says to you, "Man, I listened to a Breakup Shoes song, and it got me through some tough times."
I mean, what there's no better compliment. That's like those are the type of messages that like make me really emotional, and it's always like a thing of I don't necessarily like write the songs like with other people in mind, you know. I'm more or less like journaling with like a rhyme scheme and backed by music, but knowing that it connects with people and like that it can actually like yeah help you through those moments where you just kind of need either escape or you need to be understood or whatever. I mean, I don't know. That's it's crazy to think that things that I've written uh can do that for anyone, and I don't know. It's really special.
Seeing as your music tends to be a bit autobiographical, does that make it challenging to perform, or more cathartic, or something else?
Hmm. I don't think I yeah, okay. Yeah. I think it makes it harder to perform in front of people that I know, weirdly. Because like those people know the stories, they know the people who I'm talking about in the songs. It's like playing hometown shows is actually like the most stressful, which is I feel like almost I don't know, almost weird. But for the most part though, I don't think I feel any type of way about it. I don't think I feel like it's challenging to sing those songs, or like that it hurts. And it's some of the songs are so old at this point that they maybe don't hold as much emotional weight for me. But then those are the songs like An Unrequited Love and other cliches. Like that song, people still get really emotional in the crowd, and I think that that's really cool. And I'm happy to keep playing it, even if it's not a feeling that I've like felt in a few years. But um, yeah,
So it's almost time to tour. Do you
it
prefer
is.
outdoor festivals or more intimate clubs?
We've only gotten to play a handful of festivals, but I mean, and that's like kind of just like an electric feeling, like, but the most memorable shows that we've ever played are in small clubs, and it's just like, I mean, yeah, having a bunch of songs that are pretty emotional or whatever, like there's much more actual connection happening at a small show. And yeah, that's also, yeah, we're hopefully we'll get the chance to try out some more festivals, and I can get back to you. But the ones that we played have been a blast. I don't think I would trade like a full festival circuit for like getting to play inside.
It gets a little hot and sweaty outside, so enjoy the climate
Does.
control when you can, for sure.
It gets hot and sweaty in there too, but
Very true. So what's coming up in the next, let's say, month or so for you guys?
well, we start rehearsals for tour in a couple days, and we'll be playing through the set about a million times before we head out. The first show of the tour is in LA on the 23rd. So then we'll be traveling up the West Coast, opening for an artist named Felly, who I am very excited to get to play with. And that's kind of what we got on the docket. Just hoping that people enjoy the record, and we're looking at some touring for next year. But for the next month or so, it's just playing shows and continuing to scream at the world that we have a new album out. So
Wonderful. Well, please go ahead and check out Standing Still, the latest from Breakup Shoes. That's Nick, and I'm Jackie. And thanks to Chorus FM and In the Key of Change. Thank you so much, Nick.